Hey everyone, back again with another book, another part of my book collection. Continuing on with some of the board books, which these are mainly, I think, meant for little kids, especially the way they drew him all bubble-eyed and everything. And everything's all smiles and cutes, except for a few little bits and pieces. This is more like the books that the parents would read to the kids, or when they're learning how to read. Anyway, to get started, this one I found, and it is rather used. I think a little one got a hold of it and turned it into a slight coloring book, so they kind of degraded it a little bit, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I was happy to add it to my collection anyway. But this one kind of starts out with, this is mostly covering the first episode of the whole series, when the hunters came and killed his dad. First capturing everybody. Panja comes to the temporary rescue. Then he announces, "Really? We're going to have a baby?" Not so loud. And they devise the scheme to capture Eliza. And they kill poor Panja. He couldn't hold his head up, knowing he didn't try. And Kimba's born. Somebody colored him in. His mother tells him to leave the ship. After she tells him a little about his father. And he's surviving the storm. He sees land. Of course, in the series, first he thinks it's Africa, and then later in the series you find out I think he was in France. So that's the first one. That's the first follows the first episode. This is another book I've got. I already had one in a previous video that follows episode number 2, Wind in the Desert. But this one does start with him surviving his perils at sea. And yeah, I think that's supposed to be France he starts off in. And then it changes to where the first episode, in the animated episode, starts with him in the jungle rescuing Bucky from Tom and Tab. And they called him a chicken because he didn't want to fight. He gets caught by, I think they called him Mr. Grasp and Grab. And Mr. Braun comes and says, "I'm here to rescue you." He says he's not a bad person. And that's when Kimba learns that not all human beings are bad. And he tries to help Mr. Braun, but he can't, unfortunately. And he heads back home to face Claw, to take over the jungle. And after a big one-on-one, he proves to Claw that he's no chicken. And he heads home to the jungle to take over. You know, you see the way they draw him. It's more like for little kids, all cute and hi. Nothing wrong with that. This next pair starts out with Panja in the jungle. Almost like the first episode, a little bit, and some. Snoween or Eliza getting captured. On the boat. Interesting how they drew her this time. She almost looks like a leopard that's been stripped of its spots, with a white belly and the yellow coloring. He survives the storm. Fish are helping him get to land. In a minute. They're not easy to put. There you go. That's the last page. Seeing her as guidance. And then seeing land. He survived. Every book is a little different for children, I've noticed. There's a little difference in every one of them. Now this one is the follow to that book, and it's him as I think as an adult, although it starts off a little differently. Because this is starting off like it did in the manga with him in his overalls. And then this is him seeing his father's hide, which of course is a bit different than the manga. That was more like how they did it in the 89 series, when he actually goes to the village and finds his father's hide. It's a big fight with Kimba, Cassius, and Claw, it looks like, in this picture. And by the mane, it looks like he's already Big Leo. Pages are so thick. And it finishes off pretty much with her, I think, giving birth to Rune and Rukio, and him announcing to the jungle. Now this is another pair. I don't know if these went in a particular order or not. And these aren't board books at all. But again, this is another set of manga style cartoon, all in color. I think they're just I think these are mainly depicting certain stories in the manga itself. I know I'm going backwards, but I always loved him in his overalls. Mr. Curious. And again, I don't speak or read Japanese, so sometimes you really would like a little dialogue, but you know, they do a pretty good job of depicting the story without. I got a lot of this stuff from Yahoo Japan, although sometimes I was lucky to get some copies of these books from eBay. Sometimes I ended up with 2 copies, which I would sell the second one, or if it was one that was damaged before, I would get a, I would keep one. Now this is from Tezuka Productions, and it's basically a how to draw animals. You've got how to draw the elephants, the gazelles, the leopards. I can probably do a more detailed version of this book if anybody would like. Just let me know. Different way, how to draw the giraffes, or how he preferred them drawn. I have another similar one to this I'm going to bring up in probably a later video. Gives you a strong idea. There's the little guy. I wonder sometimes if Tezuka didn't pass away before that show was completed, how much different would it have been, or would he have left it like they did? And there's the front. That's the same picture as I think the fourth. I think it's the third or the fourth in the comic book series. That's another set that's coming up later, because I have all 5 of those. Not in the hottest shape. Now this is a magazine. Somebody else showed this on one of their videos, in a collection video, and I found it on eBay. This is a magazine of mostly Astro Boy And then some pieces of manga from Tezuka's collection and other Japanese anime. A lot of the front is in black and white, as you can see. But a lot of this is on merchandise to buy from manga and from of the manga characters, and I think even some Pokemon in here, if I'm not wrong. Video games. Pretty cool, really. Godzilla. Yeah, video games, collectible figurines from other animated works. And there's one page in here. Now again, I mean, if anybody really wants me to do another real detailed video, let me know. But, you know, this is a good scanning of it. The main page I was here to show you was the one that they've got mainly towards Jungle Emperor. And that's this one. Set open. And I have some of these things, and I have seen a lot of these things available, although the price tag has been way out of my range. I do have the figures, I do have those 2 pins. I have the one bauble of Kimba, but not the one of Kitty. I don't have the pink one. I forgot about that one on here. Like I said, I do have a few of these things. Some of these things are dated, obviously. I have that squirt gun. Of these little short figures, I've got 2, I think. If that's the ones in that little little box I've got. These figures that are these statues, I think they're plaster or something. I don't have them. Matter of fact, I almost bought one. I do have the kitty plush. I do have that one book on the right. But anyway, there's some of that stuff is probably really almost uncollectible at the moment. And here's a lot of the Astro Boy stuff they have. And like I say, a lot of the stuff is probably ungettable. Anyway, that's all I have at the moment to show. And I will be back very shortly, hopefully with another video. And I will see you all later. Thank you for watching.